There's a question that keeps you up at 3 a.m., one you're too scared to say out loud. Does he still want me? Or maybe it's, do I still want him? Or the one that makes your stomach drop? Is this all there is now? Here's what I need you to know before we go any further. If your intimate life has changed during menopause, if you feel disconnected, if you're wondering whether love can survive this transition, you are not alone, and there is a path forward. Let's talk about what nobody else will. Okay, deep breath. Because what we're about to discuss is raw, real, and might make you cry. But it might also save your relationship. Here's the truth that nobody prepared us for. Menopause doesn't just change your body, it changes how you experience intimacy, how you connect, how you show up in your relationship. And that can feel terrifying. There's this silent unraveling that happens in some marriages during menopause, not because love disappears, but because we stop recognizing ourselves, and that unfamiliarity. It spills into how we relate to each other. You don't mean to pull away, you're just exhausted, touched out, foggy, irritable. And suddenly every small thing your partner does feels louder, heavier, like too much. The way they chew, the way they clear their throat, the way they ask, "What's for dinner?" when you've just walked in the door yourself. Things that never bothered you before now feel like nails on a chalkboard. What they don't see is that you're grieving. Not just your body changing, but the quiet vanishing of the woman you used to be. And that grief, it doesn't come with a guidebook. It doesn't announce itself. It just sits there, heavy and unspoken, between you. Now, let me share some statistics that are going to make sense of what you're feeling. According to national surveys, about 20% of marriages are considered sexless, and that number is rising. A sexless marriage is typically defined as having intimate relations fewer than 10 times per year. And here's what's heartbreaking. The divorce rate peaks for women between ages 45 and 55. That's not a coincidence. That's the exact age range when perimenopause and menopause hit hardest. It's when decades of emotional labor, of putting everyone else first, of being the one who holds it all together, collide with hormone changes that make you feel like a stranger in your own skin. Maureen McGrath, registered nurse, intimacy educator, and the woman behind the viral TEDx talk on this exact topic, puts it this way. Intimacy is the barometer of the state of affairs in a marriage. When intimacy disappears, it's not just about physical connection, it's about all connection, emotional, mental, spiritual, the daily touches, the inside jokes, the feeling of being on the same team. And here's what makes this so complicated. Menopause affects intimacy in ways that go way beyond just not being in the mood. Let me break down what's actually happening, because once you understand the why, you can start addressing the how. What menopause does to intimacy change. Bar 1. Your body literally feels different when estrogen declines. The tissues in your intimate areas change. They become thinner, drier, less elastic. This is called genitourinary syndrome of menopause, or GSM. Terrible name, I know. But what it describes is very real. What this means in real life, intimacy can be uncomfortable or even painful. Not just a little uncomfortable. Sometimes it's sharp, burning pain that makes you want to cry. You might feel self-conscious about changes in your body. Things don't look the same. They don't feel the same. You worry about what your partner thinks, even if they've never said a word. Things that used to feel good don't anymore. The touch that used to turn you on now feels irritating. The pressure that felt amazing now feels like too much. You need more time and preparation than you used to. What used to take 5 minutes now takes 20. And in the moment, that can feel frustrating for both of you. And here's what happens. If intimacy becomes associated with discomfort or pain, your brain starts avoiding it. Not consciously. Not because you don't love your partner. Because your body is protecting itself from pain. It's a primal response. Your nervous system says, "This hurts. Avoid this." And so you do. You make excuses. You go to bed early. You stay up late. You're always too tired. And the more you avoid it, the worse it gets. Because the tissues that aren't being used become even more fragile. It's a vicious cycle. Change number 2. Your desire system rewires testosterone. Yes, women need testosterone too. Declines during menopause. And testosterone is your desire hormone. It affects spontaneous desire. That feeling of, "I want this now." That sudden urge that used to come out of nowhere. That might be gone entirely. Motivation and drive. Not just for intimacy, for everything. That push to do things, accomplish things, engage with things. When testosterone drops, so does that drive. Energy levels. Testosterone supports vitality. Without enough of it, everything feels harder, heavier. Confidence. Testosterone affects how you feel about yourself. Your assertiveness. Your willingness to take up space. Your sense of power in your own body. So when you hear yourself saying, "I just don't think about it anymore," that's not a character flaw. That's not you being a bad partner. That's biochemistry. Your brain isn't producing the same signals it used to. The spontaneous desire that used to show up on its own, it's not coming anymore. But here's what's important. Spontaneous desire isn't the only kind of desire. There's also responsive desire. Desire that shows up after you start being intimate, not before. And for many women during and after menopause, desire shifts from spontaneous to responsive. You might not think about intimacy anymore, but once you get started, your body responds. The desire shows up. Understanding this difference changes everything. Because if you're waiting to be in the mood before initiating anything, you might be waiting forever. Change, number 3, your emotional bandwidth shrinks. Between hot flashes, sleep disruption, brain fog, anxiety, and mood swings, you're maxed out. Your nervous system is overwhelmed. Your cup is not just empty. It's got holes in the bottom. And intimacy requires emotional space, presence, the ability to be in your body instead of in your spinning mind. When you don't have that space, intimacy feels like one more demand on an already overloaded system. One more thing someone wants from you. One more performance you have to give. You're touched out. You've been taking care of everyone all day. Kids, parents, co-workers, the dog. And by the time you get to bed, you have nothing left to give. Your partner reaches for you, and instead of feeling desire, you feel resentment or just nothing, numbness. And then you feel guilty for feeling that way, which makes everything worse. Change before the resentment builds. Here's where it gets really painful. You feel guilty for not wanting intimacy. You know your partner needs connection. You know they're feeling rejected. You want to want it, but you just don't. Your partner feels rejected. They reach out and you pull away. They try to be affectionate and you flinch. They make a move and you make an excuse. They feel unwanted, undesirable, unloved. You feel pressured, which makes you want it even less. Every touch feels like a demand. Every hug feels like it might lead somewhere. So you stop accepting hugs at all. They feel lonely. They're lying next to the person they love, feeling completely alone. And that's one of the most painful feelings in the world. You feel like a failure, like you're broken, like you're not a good enough partner, like you're failing at something that used to be natural and easy. They feel angry, and then guilty for feeling angry, because they know you're struggling, but they're struggling too. And nobody talks about it because it's too painful, too vulnerable, too loaded, too wrapped up in shame and fear and hurt. So you both just drift further and further apart, sleeping on opposite sides of the bed, having surface-level conversations, living like roommates instead of partners. Change number 5. The identity crisis compounds. Everything you're already questioning who you are during menopause. The roles you've played for decades, mother, wife, professional, caretaker, they're all shifting. Your body doesn't look like it used to. Your mind doesn't work like it used to. Your energy isn't what it used to be. And if intimacy, which used to be a source of connection and pleasure and validation, is now a source of stress and avoidance and shame, that feels like losing another piece of yourself, another way you don't recognize who you are anymore. You think, I used to love this. What's wrong with me? Am I even a woman anymore if I don't want this? And those thoughts, they make everything so much worse. Change, verse 6. The communication breaks down. Here's what I see happening in so many relationships. The partner with declining desire stops communicating because they feel ashamed, guilty, broken. They avoid the topic entirely. The partner seeking connection stops initiating because they're tired of rejection. They stop trying because it hurts too much to keep being turned down. Both people assume the worst. They don't love me anymore. They're not attracted to me. They're having an affair. They want to leave, when really, both people are hurting, both people are confused, both people are grieving the intimacy they used to have. But because they're not talking about it, they're making up stories. And those stories create distance where there doesn't need to be any. The hard truth about intimacy gaps. Now, here's the part that might be hard to hear, but it's important. According to Maureen McGrath's research and clinical experience, men in relationships without intimacy often seek it elsewhere to stay in the relationship. They're not trying to leave. They're trying to cope with feeling rejected and unwanted. Women, on the other hand, often seek connection elsewhere, emotional or physical, because they're preparing to leave. They're done. They've checked out emotionally before they physically leave. I'm not saying this to scare you or to judge anyone. I'm saying it because silence around this topic is what allows relationships to crumble. When we don't talk about what's happening, we fill the silence with assumptions, resentments, and distance. If we can talk about it, if we can name what's happening, we can fix it. So let's talk about solutions. Real, practical. This is how you reconnect solutions. Solution number 1. Name it out loud. The first step to stopping the unraveling is saying it out loud. Menopause is happening. To me, to my body, to my hormones. And it's affecting us. Just naming it creates space for empathy instead of blame. It shifts the narrative from, you don't want me, to your body is changing. Here's a script you can use. You can literally read this to your partner if you need to. I need to talk to you about something that's been really hard for me. My body is changing in ways I didn't expect, and it's affecting how I feel about intimacy. It's not about you. It's not that I don't love you. It's not that I'm not attracted to you. But I need you to know that I'm struggling with how my body feels, with how my hormones are affecting me. And I need your patience while I figure out how to feel like myself again. That's it. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to promise things will change tomorrow. You just need to open the door to honest conversation. What this does, it takes the rejection out of the equation. Your partner can stop assuming it's about them. It invites them to be your teammate instead of feeling like your adversary. It creates space for vulnerability, which is where real intimacy begins. If you're the partner of someone going through menopause, here's what you can say in response. Thank you for telling me. I know this must be hard to talk about. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. What do you need from me? How can I support you through this? That's it. Don't try to fix it. Don't minimize it. Don't make it about you. Just listen. Be present. Be patient. Solution number 2. Learn together. This can't be just your problem to solve. This can't be something you figure out alone while your partner waits for you to get back to normal. Your partner needs to understand what's actually happening, the biology, the psychology, the reality of this transition. Here's how. Watch a documentary together. The M Factor is excellent. Or find educational content on YouTube, like this video, and watch it together. Read a chapter from a book together. Maureen McGrath's book, Sex and Health: Why One Can't Come Without the Other, is an incredible resource. Got interested in the book? Its link is waiting for you in the first pinned comment. Check it out. Listen to a podcast together. There are so many great ones about menopause and relationships now. The point is, together. Not you consuming information and then trying to explain it. Together, learning at the same time, processing at the same time. When your partner understands that menopause affects desire, comfort, energy, and mood, not because you're broken, but because of biochemistry, it stops being about rejection. It becomes a challenge you face together. It becomes, how do we navigate this? Instead of, when will you get better? Have conversations after you learn. What surprised you about that? What made sense of things we've been experiencing? What do you think we should try? What support do we need? Make it collaborative. Make it curious. Make it about discovery, not diagnosis. Solution number 3. Redefine intimacy. Here's the trap. We think intimacy has one definition. We think it looks one specific way. And if that definition doesn't work right now, we avoid all connection. But intimacy is so much more than one type of physical connection. Intimacy is holding hands during a movie. That simple touch that says, I'm here with you. Taking a shower together without any expectations. Just being in the same space, vulnerable, relaxed, giving each other massages. Non-sexual touch that feels good, that releases tension, that says, I care about your comfort. Having deep conversations at midnight when you can't sleep. Talking about dreams, fears, memories, hopes. Laughing until you can't breathe. Sharing inside jokes that nobody else would understand. Dancing in the kitchen while dinner cooks. Moving your bodies together, playful and present. Sitting close on the couch while you read separate books. Just proximity. Warmth. Presence. Going for walks together. Movement. Fresh air. Side-by-side conversation. Cooking together. Creating something as a team. Create what I call intimacy without agenda. Times when you're physically close, emotionally connected, but there's zero pressure for it to go anywhere. Zero expectation that touching will lead to more. This does two things. First, it maintains connection without triggering anxiety. You can accept a hug without worrying it's a trap. You can cuddle without your guard going up. Second, it often naturally leads to more when you're not forcing it. When there's no pressure, when you're relaxed and connected, desire has room to show up on its own. Schedule a connection night once a week. No phones, no TV, just you two. Talk, touch, be present, with absolutely no expectation that it has to lead to anything. What you're doing is rebuilding trust. Trust that touch doesn't always have an agenda. Trust that you can be close without demands. Trust that connection is valuable on its own, regardless of where it leads. Solution number 4. Address the physical reality. If intimacy is uncomfortable or painful, there are solutions. Here are some real, effective, life-changing suggestions. You don't have to just suffer through this. Also, always share it with your physician for your safety and proper treatment. Lubrication. Not optional. Essential. Water-based or silicone-based personal lubricants make a huge difference. This isn't something to be embarrassed about. This is a tool, like glasses when your vision changes. Silicone-based lasts longer but is harder to clean up. Water-based is easier to clean, but you might need to reapply. Experiment to find what works for you. Use more than you think you need. Generously, every time. This is not the time to be conservative. Vaginal estrogen. Game changer. This is different from systemic hormone therapy. It's a low-dose estrogen cream, tablet, or ring applied locally to vaginal tissues. It restores tissue health, elasticity, moisture, and pH balance. It doesn't enter your bloodstream in significant amounts. It's considered very safe even for women who can't take systemic hormones. Talk to your doctor. This is life-changing for many women. It can reverse GSM symptoms. It can make intimacy comfortable again. Don't suffer in silence because you're embarrassed to bring it up. Your doctor has this conversation multiple times per week. This is normal. This is common. This is treatable. Pelvic floor. Physical therapy. Yes, this exists. If you're experiencing pain, tension, or discomfort during intimacy, a pelvic floor physical therapist can help. This is specialized therapy that addresses muscle tension and spasm, scar tissue from childbirth or surgery, coordination and function of pelvic muscles, pain conditions. It's not weird, it's not embarrassing, it's healthcare, and it works. Ask your doctor for a referral to a pelvic floor PT. It's covered by most insurance. Time and patience. The unsexy truth. Your body needs more time to warm up now. That's not a problem. That's just reality. What used to take 5 minutes might take 20. What used to happen spontaneously might need intentional attention. Communicate what you need. Ask for it. I need more time. I need this to be slower. I need you to focus here first. Your partner can't read your mind, and if you don't tell them what works now, they'll keep doing what used to work, and everyone will be frustrated. Toys and tools, no shame. Vibrators, moisturizers, positioning pillows. These aren't signs of failure. They're tools that support pleasure and comfort. If something helps, use it. Period. Solution number 5. Bring in support. A therapist, a coach, a menopause specialist, a counselor who understands this exact transition, not because your relationship is broken, but because it deserves support through this massive life change. Look for a certified menopause practitioner. They understand the biology and the psychology of this transition. A relationship therapist who specializes in midlife transitions. Not all therapists understand menopause. Find one who does. A women's health specialist. Someone who can address both the medical and emotional aspects. Support groups for couples navigating menopause. You're not alone. Hearing other couples' stories normalizes your experience. Getting help is a sign of strength. It says, this relationship matters enough to invest in it. It says, we're not giving up. We're getting support. Some couples wait until things are so broken that repair feels impossible. Don't wait. Get support now, while you still have goodwill and connection to build on. Solution number 6. Anchor yourself first. Here's the hard truth. You can't fix intimacy in your relationship if you're not taking care of yourself. You can't give from an empty cup. And right now, your cup is empty, maybe even broken. You need sleep. Non-negotiable 7 to 8 hours. Consistent bedtime, dark room, cool temperature. Sleep hygiene is critical. Supplements like magnesium glycinate can help. 300 to 400 milligrams before bed. Always check with your doctor first. If you're not sleeping, nothing else works. Not your mood, not your patience, not your desire, nothing. Stress management, daily practice meditation, breath work, yoga, walking in nature, therapy, journaling, whatever actually calms your nervous system. Your stress response is amplified during menopause. You need tools to regulate it daily, not occasionally. Daily. Movement. Reconnect with your body. Exercise isn't just about weight management. It's about feeling good in your body, strong, capable, alive. Strength training especially. Building muscle makes you feel powerful. And feeling powerful translates to confidence in all areas, including intimacy. Emotional support. You need people therapy. Trusted friends who get it. A support group. This community. You can't process this alone. You need people who understand, who validate, who say, me too. Possible hormone support. Talk to your doctor. Bioidentical hormones might be appropriate for you, or maybe not, but have the conversation. Don't suffer unnecessarily because you're afraid to ask, or because you think you should just tough it out. Supplements that can support this process. Always consult your doctor first. Ashwagandha, 300 to 600 milligrams daily. Adaptogen that helps regulate stress and cortisol. May support desire. Omega-3 fatty acids, 2,000 milligrams daily. Reduce inflammation. Support mood and brain function. Support vaginal tissue health. Maca root, 1,500 to 3,000 milligrams daily. Traditional herb for energy and libido support. Different colors have different effects. Red maca for women is often recommended. DHEA, 10 to 25 milligrams daily. Precursor to testosterone, can support desire and energy. Doctor supervision required. Get levels tested before and after. Vitamin E, 400 IU daily. Some studies show it helps with vaginal dryness. Take with fat for absorption. But here's the key. You're not taking supplements to fix yourself for your partner. You're supporting your own well-being. And when you feel better in your body, connection becomes possible again. Solution number 7. Give yourself permission to evolve. Maybe intimacy looks different now than it did 20 years ago. That's okay. That's normal. That's evolution. Maybe it's less frequent but more meaningful, more connected, more present. Maybe it's more playful and less serious, more about laughter and less about performance. Maybe it requires more communication and creativity, more patience and more time. That's not failure. That's evolution. That's growth. You're not trying to recreate who you were at 30. You're discovering who you are at 50, 55, 60, and how that woman experiences connection. And that woman, she's wiser, more confident, more authentic, less concerned with performance, more focused on genuine pleasure and connection. That's actually a gift, if you can embrace it, when the disconnect is deeper now. Let's talk about what happens when the gap feels too wide to bridge. Sometimes, the intimacy issue isn't just about menopause. Sometimes it's revealing cracks that were always there. Decades of unmet emotional needs. The feeling that you've been carrying everything alone for years. Unresolved resentments. Things that happened years ago that were never addressed, never forgiven, just buried. Patterns of criticism or defensiveness. Communication styles that hurt instead of help. Affairs or betrayals. Trust that was broken and never fully repaired. Deep incompatibility. The realization that you've grown in different directions. Menopause doesn't create these problems, but it can reveal them. It strips away the distractions and the performances and forces you to look at what's really there. And here's what's important. You deserve to be in a relationship where you feel seen, valued, and loved. If your partner is unwilling to learn, unwilling to adapt, unwilling to support you through this transition, that's information. If you've been unhappy for years and menopause is just highlighting what you've been avoiding, that's information too. And maybe, this transition is showing you that it's time for a different path. Not because you failed, but because you're finally listening to your own voice after years of turning down the volume. That voice saying, I need more, I need different, I need to honor who I'm becoming. This is menopause transformation, not destruction. But sometimes transformation looks like burning things down before the rebuild. The phoenix burns before it rises. That's the process. And if you're in that place, if you're considering leaving, know this. You are not selfish. You are not giving up. You are choosing yourself. And that's brave. But if you're not there yet, if there's still love, still commitment, still willingness on both sides, then there is a path forward. The 30-day reconnection plan. Here's what that path looks like. Week 1, communicate. Have the menopause is happening and it's affecting us. Conversation. Use the script from earlier if you need to. Share one thing you're grateful for about your partner every day. Out loud. Make it specific. No criticism. Only curiosity and compassion. If you catch yourself being critical, pause. Reframe. Week 2. Educate, read, or watch something about menopause and intimacy together. This video counts. Share another one. Discuss what resonated. What surprised you? What made sense? Ask each other. What do you need from me right now? And then, listen. Really listen. Week 3. Experiment. Schedule 2 to 3. Connection without agenda. times. Calendar them. Protect them. Try new forms of physical closeness. Massage, cuddling, hand-holding, dancing, showering together. Explore what feels good now, not what used to feel good. What feels good in this body, at this stage. Week 4. Evaluate and adjust what's working, what's not. Be honest. What needs to change? What do we need more of? What do we need less of? What support do we need? Do we need a therapist, a doctor, a coach? Don't wait. Get the support. This isn't a magic fix, but it's a start. And starting is everything. It's saying, this matters, you matter, we matter, and I'm willing to try. Now, I want to hear from you. What's menopause done to your intimate relationship? Are you feeling disconnected, lonely, guilty, resentful, hopeful, scared? Go to the comments and tell me. Be honest, be vulnerable. Use a fake name if you need to, but share your truth. Because when you share your truth, you give another woman permission to share hers. And that's how we heal, together, in community, with honesty instead of shame. Hit that like button if this video gave you hope that reconnection is possible. Subscribe to join the Phoenix community where we talk about the hard stuff without judgment. Share this with your partner. Let this video start the conversation you've been too tired or too scared to have. Send them the link. Watch it together. And remember, Maureen McGrath's book, Sex and Health, Why One Can't Come Without the Other, is linked in the description below. It's an incredible resource for understanding the connection between physical health and intimate connection. Hey Phoenix, if you couldn't do it today, just do it tomorrow. But do not give up. Failure is not an option. You are not broken. Your relationship is not doomed. This transition is hard. But on the other side, there's a kind of intimacy that's deeper, more authentic, more real than anything you've experienced before. Because you're not performing anymore. You're not pretending. You're showing up as your true self, vulnerable, real, authentic. And that's the foundation for real connection. The kind that lasts, the kind that deepens with time instead of fading. If you haven't subscribed yet, please take a moment and do that now. Hit the subscribe button. Join the Phoenix community. Help this video reach more women who need to hear all of this. Because this is the conversation we need to have. The one that could change everything. The one that could save relationships. The one that could help you remember who you are beyond the chaos of this transition. The Phoenix community is here. We're rising together, and we're not leaving anyone behind. See you in the next video. And hey, thanks for making us company.